A villager in a Don't Poke the Bear t-shirt arrested after a parking lot dispute. Grandpa allegedly strikes his grandson after the grandson accused Grandpa of cheating on Grandma. Executive golf official has announced his departure of the Villages. An Amenity Authority Committee member has announced her resignation. Which executive golf course is the busiest of 2024? We have the answer. A neighbor from hell was arrested after a chaotic night in the Villages. New executive golf course is announced to be open near Eastport this year. A homeless man goes on a shopping spree after burglarizing a villager's car. A teen living in the Villages was arrested after an altercation at the lighthouse. A new name and a new owner coming to a restaurant in the Villages. How many holes in ones of golf did we get? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in for another exciting week of life in a retirement community in the Villages. A teen living in the Villages was arrested after an altercation at the Lighthouse Point Bar and Grill at Lake Sumter Landing. Nicole Irene Toole, 19, was arrested at her home Friday night at 305 Catherine Place in the Catherine Villas in the village of Caroline. She is facing a charge of battery. The arrest is a result of an incident on the night of December 26 at the popular waterfront restaurant. Toole had apparently tried to move an outdoor heater, which resulted in the heater getting bent in half. How does that happen? According to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The employee went outside to deal with it. Toole got into the employee's face and shoved the employee. Toole was asked to leave and responded by pouring the drink over the employee's head. These kids today, I swear I don't know where they learn this stuff. When a deputy arrived on the scene, the deputy found the employee had black makeup under her eye, as if it had been running off her face due to a drink being poured on her face. This past November, Toole posted on Facebook that she was moving to the Villages and looking for work. My name is Nicole Toole. I am 19 years old. I'm a college student. I recently moved to the Villages while in transition from the Culinary Institution of New York to a college for hospitality here in Orlando. I am on the lookout for some work or odd job before I leave to school in January. I have fundamental kitchen knowledge as well as Serve Safe certification. I love working with people and cannot wait to meet more friendly neighbors. Well, she writes well. Some basic services I could provide you or loved ones. Well, listen, I'm not going to read any more about what she wants to do or don't want to do. I'm not an advertisement for her jobs. But I can tell you with an attitude like she's got or a drinking problem that she's got, I wouldn't hire her to pull the weeds in my flower bed. I have more to this story. You're going to love it. Record shows a villager paid the cash bond for her teen daughter arrested last week in an altercation at the Lighthouse Point Bar and Grill at Lake Sumter Landing. Nicole Irene Toole, 19, was arrested at her home this past Friday at 305 Catherine Place in the Catherine Villas in the village of Caroline. She is facing a charge of battery. The arrest is the result of an incident on the night of December 26 at the popular waterfront restaurant. Toole was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. Her mother, Lisa Toole, posted a $1,000 cash bond for her daughter's release. At the time, the younger Toole also filled out a form indicating she will be requiring legal representation from the Public Defender's Office. As part of the financial disclosure, she indicated she has a bi-weekly income of $530 and has about $1,000 in debt. In a social media post prior to her arrest, Toole described herself as a 19-year-old college student who had recently moved to the Villages during her transition from the Culinary Institute of New York to a college for hospitality in Orlando area. Well, if she's got a bi-weekly income of $530 and seeing she's living here for free, living with grandma, I think it was, or whoever it was, mom, she can pay her way. Taxpayers don't need to be buying her a lawyer. That's just the way I see it. Tough it out. Suck it up, Buttercup. A resident of the village of Citrus Grove is set for felony arraignment later this month after a parking lot dispute at Walmart. Michael James Hahn, 50, is due January 22 in Lake County Court to answer to a charge of battery on a person 65 years of age and older. The New Jersey native was wearing a Don't Poke the Bear t-shirt when he was arrested December 28th after an apparent parking lot dispute in the Walmart in Fruitland Park. Witnesses told law enforcement that Hahn was turning into an aisle in the parking lot when the other driver went around him, according to the arrest report of Fruitland Park Police Department. Hahn got out of his vehicle, then began yelling at the other man and calling him names. The other man drove away, but Hahn got back into his vehicle and began following the other man. When he stopped, Hahn used his car to block him in. The other driver got out of the vehicle and tried to enter Walmart, but Hahn, who stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 220 pounds, approached him on foot and began swinging his fist at the other man, who put his arms up to defend himself. He suffered a small abrasion on the side of his face and a sore forearm. The report noted that the two men were complete strangers. Hahn was taken into custody and booked at the Lake County Jail. He was released after posting a $5,000 bond. Law enforcement was called to Spruce Creek South after a grandson was reportedly attacked by his grandfather. Marion County deputies responded Monday morning to a 55-plus community of Summerfield where they arrested 66-year-old Thomas Christopher Guyett. He had picked up his grandson to give him a ride to court, according to the arrest report from the sheriff's office. I'm sorry. Grandpa gets arrested, but he was taking his grandson to court. The two men got into an argument when the grandson accused Guyett of cheating on his wife and talking to other women. Guyett, who weighs 295 pounds, reached over with his left hand and punched his grandson in the face 3 times, causing his eyeglasses to fall off, the report said. Guyett admitted he backhanded his grandson because he kept running his mouth. Guyett also claims his grandson took his cell phone. He was arrested on a charge of battery and booked at the Marion County Jail, where he was being held without bond. Listen, I don't know the whole story there, but I do relate to it because I can tell you as I'm growing up, my grandfather was probably about as gentle and as quiet as any grandfather in the world. But if I got lippy with him and I said something that was totally inappropriate, especially about family members, he was big on family. He was almost like the mafia leader of our family. If I said something inappropriate about my dad, my grandfather's liable to knock me on my ass. And I probably would have had it coming. So I don't know the situation here, so I'm not going to comment on it. I just think it was just kind of funny how they worded some things here. The director of executive golf maintenance has announced his departure from the Villages. Mike Linninger confirmed at Wednesday morning's Amenity Authority Committee meeting that he will be leaving the Villages for a job with the United States Golf Association. Linninger endured a barrage of criticisms in 2024 when residents were outraged at the atrocious conditions of golf courses in Villages. Residents were further infuriated when golf officials tried to blame El Nino weather conditions for the deterioration of the courses. However, many were quick to defend Linninger, who joined the Villages in 2019, succeeding Eric Van Gorder. Linninger previously served as superintendent of golf courses at the Rosen Hotels and Resorts in Orlando. With the USGA, he'll be the agronomist for the Southeast District, including Florida. The district is moving forward with interviews to replace Linninger. Looking for a job? A suspect was caught on a doorbell camera stealing money intended for the landscaper. Mary Lynn Catry, 54 of Leesburg, is facing charges of theft following her arrest this week by Sumter County Sheriff's Office. She was caught on a Ring doorbell camera on December the 12th when she went to a home in the Villages and knocked on the front door, according to the arrest report. She activated the Ring doorbell, which showed her taking 2 envelopes which contained a $200 check and a $20 bill meant for the Christmas tip for the landscaper. And yes, we do that. I tip my landscaper, I guess you call him, the guy that mows the yard and edges and stuff. They call him a landscaper too, but we tip him because he's been mowing my grass and stuff for 10 years now. And we tip other regular people. I think Sue even tips the mailman, which legally I don't think you're supposed to do that, but hey, it is what it is. A detective used the images captured by the doorbell camera and compared them with images contained in the law enforcement database. The detective found a match of an image of Catry, who had been arrested last year when she was caught riding an unregistered moped. She was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. Yes. And I've said it before, and I think it deserves repeating. If you're going to hire people to work around your house and whatever, just kind of do a little bit of homework. Know who you're hiring. Don't trust everybody here just because we're a retirement community. Some of these people here will prey on you. A mold problem at a home in the Villages was the subject of a public hearing at Savannah Center. Arlene Harrington purchased the home in 2000 at 307 Santa Clara Circle in the village of Rio Ponderosa. She is now deceased. I'm going to say something that's probably going to be very controversial to some people and they're going to hate me for it, but I just want the new people to know if you're coming down here looking for a home, be it pre-owned, Ponderosa is one of them neighborhoods that I would not recommend to anybody. There's nothing wrong with the homes. There's nothing wrong with the neighborhood. It's just the way it's situated. You're not really close to nothing. I just don't think I'd want to buy there when there's better homes, better locations in other areas. My opinion, a complaint was lodged in July about overgrown grass and weeds as well as mold on the home. The property is listed with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and Community Standards contacted HUD to make the agency aware of the problems at the property. HUD arranged to have the lawn and weeds addressed, but would not take care of the mold at the home per HUD policy. Well, that's a stupid policy. In the hearing before the Community Development District 1 Board of Supervisors, the board found that the home was in violation of deed restriction standards. The homeowner was given 7 days to bring the home into compliance. If the home is not brought into compliance, fines will be imposed and the district will have the home power washed. Here's a report from the neighbor from hell. A neighbor from hell was arrested after a chaotic night in the Villages. Lori Ann Calgrande, 61, was taken into custody in the wee hours Wednesday at her home at 7189 Denver Avenue in the village of Lake Denham. A neighbor got a notification at 3:20 a.m. alerting her to activity captured on an exterior surveillance camera at her home she shares with her husband, according to the arrest report from the Leesburg Police Department. Calgrande used a broom to knock down the neighbor's security camera, then picked up the camera and looked directly into it. Calgrande proceeded to bang on the side of the neighbor's house with the broom. Nuts. Some of these people down here are just nuts. She went into her home before police arrived on the scene and she refused to come out. A police officer verbally informed Calgrande through a window that she was being formally trespassed from her neighbor's property and could face arrest if she returned to it. What about damages? She tried to argue with the officer and claimed the side yard was her property and she had a right to be on it. Calgrande refused to discuss her knocking down the security camera and she became belligerent. She claimed her neighbors were only entitled to 2 inches of the side yard. She finally came outside to yell and argue with the police officer. She was ordered to go back inside her home. I'm sure she listened well. Police were still nearby when Calgrande came out of her house and headed for her neighbor's residence. When police officers confronted her, she ran back inside her home, turned off her lights, and closed her windows and blinds. She got into her bed and pretended to be sleeping. She refused to come outside. The New York native called 911 3 times, and each time she screamed and cursed at the dispatchers. In one of the calls, she claimed the police officers were harassing her. Calgrande is facing charges of misuse of 911, resisting arrest, and trespassing. She was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $3,000 bond. You know what I'm thinking. A new name and new owner are coming to a restaurant at Sawgrass Grove in the Villages. McGrady's Pub will be taken over by FMK Hospitality Group, and the restaurant will be rechristened as the Sawgrass Tavern. The restaurant will be closing beginning Monday and is set to reopen January 20 under the new name and with new menu. The FMK Restaurant Group, owned and operated by Fred Karamapur, is growing right along with the Villages. FMK will be opening a new restaurant at Eastport and will be taking over the show kitchen at Sawgrass Grove. FMK operates restaurants at several country clubs as well as a popular upscale restaurants, the Chop House at Lake Sumter Landing, Bluefin Bar and Grill at Brownwood, and Bella Vita Italian Steakhouse in Spanish Springs, Town Square. There's no such thing as an Italian steak. I have a problem with these 2 major companies here owning 75% of all the restaurants in the Villages. A villager has warned that homeowners are getting roofs that are not deed compliant. Rick Osborne, who lives in the San Leandro Villas in the village of Santo Domingo, issued a warning Friday before the Community Development District 2 Board of Supervisors at Savannah Center. Osborne was among a group of neighbors last year who called out a home in his neighborhood which they said had shingles that were the wrong color. Osborne was claiming that homeowners, many of whom are not around when the shingles are being nailed down, are unaware that the roofers are using a slightly off-color shingle. It's an ongoing problem, Osborne said. I cannot always be there to investigate. I am just trying to put out the fire. He called on the Architectural Review Committee to be more proactive about making sure the shingles that are put down are the right color and properly match the neighborhood. However, Deputy District Manager Carrie Duckett said that responsibility lies with the homeowner, who presumably has received approval and specific instructions from the ARC. The onus has to be on the property owner to make sure the right color is going up. The onus cannot be on the ARC, Duckett said. CDD2 Supervisor Tim Swires, a former member of the ARC, agreed. Every approval from the ARC has a statement that the homeowner will make sure the colors match, Swires said. A villager who admitted he had taken hydrocodone for back pain and was arrested after he was driving dangerously near an entry gate. Paul Joseph Barkham, 60, who lives with his father in the village of Santo Domingo, was driving a gray Ford pickup at about 2 p.m. Monday when he made a wide turn and drove up onto the median, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The vehicle went on to make another wide turn near the guard shack on El Camino Real entrance to the village of Santo Domingo. The truck driver's side mirror hit the entry pad at the gate. God. The deputy feared Barkham was suffering a medical episode and initiated a traffic stop. The deputy noticed the truck's front driver's side tire was shredded. Barkham's speech was slow and sluggish, and it appeared he might be impaired. The New York native admitted he had taken hydrocodone for back issues. He said he takes hydrocodone 4 times daily. I have a small comment at the end of this. He was invited to take part in field sobriety exercises, but Barkham advised the deputy he has bad knees, bad back, and had previously suffered from strokes. He was unable to maintain his balance during the exercises and was unsteady on his feet. A breath sample registered .000 blood alcohol content, and Barkham agreed to provide a urine sample. An inventory of the truck prior to towing turned up a pill bottle, which held multiple pills, including traxidone hydrochloride and traxidone, which are antidepressants. He was arrested on charges of driving under the influence and possession of drugs without a prescription. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $700 bond. Well, this guy had drugs that probably weren't even his, they're probably his dad's. I'm just guessing here. Here's the thing about what I always talk about, people around here, and I know it's not everybody, but there's a large percentage of people here operating golf carts and cars, either half drunk, because there's a lot of alcohol consumption here, or on prescription drugs. I swear to you, there's people here in their 70s and 80s and says, if I couldn't drive my car or whatever, why would a doctor prescribe it to me? They don't read the bottle. They don't care what that paper says. It said they throw it away. And I'm sure the doctor, when they write the prescription, he never says anything, because when I get my prescriptions, they never tell me nothing. They just say, we're going to send you a prescription for your pain medication over to the pharmacy. That's the end of it. And the pharmacist usually has a paper they put in the bottle. You guys know what I'm talking about. That informs you you cannot operate heavy equipment, blah, 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 on this stuff. Nobody reads that. They just throw it away. They think if a doctor prescribes it, it's okay. And we all know it's not. A villager claimed in a public hearing he didn't know how bad his property had gotten. Lawrence Chapman, who lives in the village of Rio Ponderosa, testified Monday in a deed compliance hearing with regard to his second property at 723 Truman Avenue on the historic side of the villages. A complaint was received October 1 by Community Standards about overgrown vegetation at the property. And it looks pretty bad. I see mold on the house, probably all over the house, windows everywhere. The vegetation is just way overgrown. It's above the roof line. I hadn't been to the property in a couple of weeks. That property didn't get like this in 2 weeks. I didn't realize how horrible it was looking, Chapman said in Monday's hearing at the district office at Lake Sumter Landing. I didn't get over there and wasn't aware it was so bad. Yes, you was. You're aware. I mean, I feel for you, but, let's face it, things went from bad to worse when Hurricane Milton damaged the roof of the home and bees nested near the door. He said the neighbor complained about the bees, which stung a landscaper. I couldn't even get into the house because of the bees, said Chapin. What's that got to do with the overgrown bushes? Whose property previously has shown up on delinquent tax rolls? The problem in question at the public hearing before Special Master Terry Neal was the vegetation growing into the eaves. Chapin said he would like time to try to do the work himself. Community Standards had recommended him 7 days to bring the property into compliance, but Special Master agreed to give him 30 days. Probably elderly, maybe a little bit of an income problem here, it sounds like. Here's my suggestion if he's watching. I don't know that he is. If he has friends watching this, please tell him he's getting to the age where this is just more of a problem. He can't keep up with it. I know he's probably renting it out for a little bit of extra income. Just sell it. Property up there is worth a lot of money now compared to what they used to be. Just sell it. Put the money in the bank and just get this worry out of the way. That would be my recommendation if this is my grandfather. I'd tell him, just sell it, Dad. Just get rid of it. A homeless man went on a shopping spree with a stolen credit card after burglarizing a car in the Villages. A 77-year-old resident of the Villages said her car was burglarized Tuesday night when she and her husband went out to eat at Beef O'Brady's at Colony Plaza, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. They left the restaurant at about 8:30 p.m., and when they got home, she discovered a Las Vegas tote bag had been stolen from her unlocked vehicle. The tote bag contained her iPhone, her driver's license, and her credit card. She checked her card and found there had been 5 fraudulent purchases, including purchases at the nearby 7-Eleven and Walmart at Sarasota Plaza. A deputy checked the surveillance from the 2 stores and saw images of the man who made the illicit purchases with the stolen credit card. The villager contacted the sheriff's office after her phone pinged at about 11:30 a.m. Wednesday at Colony Plaza. The same deputy who had viewed the surveillance went to Colony Plaza and found 32-year-old Joshua Galarza in the parking lot. He had a bicycle and the villager's Las Vegas tote bag. He also had her credit card. The villager arrived on the scene and identified her stolen items. Galarza was arrested on charges of burglary and fraud. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and was initially held without bond. The report noted he is homeless. Just wondering why theft was put on there. Burglary and fraud. Just wondered. An 80-year-old villager testified Monday in a deed compliance hearing that he has been battling the curse of the white marble chips. Da-da-da-da. Edward Rust, who lives at 17473 Southeast 76 Flintlock Terrace in the village of Chatham, was called before Special Master Terry Neal at the district offices at Lake Sumter Landing. A complaint was received October 16th about overgrown landscaping, weeds, and vines at Rust's home. During an inspection of the home this past Thursday, Community Standards found that it is still not in compliance. Russ said he had been in the home about 6 years but found that the white marble chips that was already there in the landscaping beds at the time of the purchase of the home had become a curse of the property. Ta-da! He said weeds have popped up through the fabric under the rocks and that the rocks have gotten dirty. He said he used a wheelbarrow to haul the white marble chips to the rear of his home. He noted he is 80 years old and the work is quite laborious. Yeah, it is. Russ had been under the tight deadline of 7 days to bring the property into compliance before fines would be imposed. The special master agreed to give Russ 30 days to bring the property into compliance. I agree with that. Give the old guy a break. But I'll tell you, that fabric they put down is for weed control. It doesn't mean it keeps your beds weedless. It's help keeps it under weed control. So weed can still grow in there. Executive golf courses are set to open this year in the new Eastport area of the Villages. There is great anticipation building for the opening of Eastport, which will offer a new town center, shopping, dining, and of course, numerous recreation opportunities. David Williams, head of golf and tennis for the Villages, reported this past week that the executive courses are set to open this year down in Eastport area. A 9-hole Bel Air executive golf course is scheduled to open this spring. The Beautyberry and Honeysuckle Executive courses, 9-hole each, are set to open in November. Golfers are already enjoying the Southern Oaks Championship course, the Laurel Oak Executive Golf Course, and the Live Oak Pitch and Putt course, which opened in 2024 in that area of the Villages. So there are more to come. See? Slowly but surely, everything will come. Let it go. And speaking of the new golf courses, did you ever wonder on executive golf courses which one throughout all of the Villages, and we have hundreds of those, which one is the most played? Which one is the most popular? Well, we have that answer for you. The numbers are in for 2024, and the Villages Golf Division has revealed which executive course was the busiest last year. The most popular executive course in 2024 was the Lowlands Executive Golf Course located in the village of Marsh Bend. There were 76,890 rounds of golf played last year at the Lowlands course, which is located south of State Road 44. Bordered by Hogeye Preserve, the course offers unique and interesting challenges including elevation changes, multiple tee box locations, water features, and strategically placed hazards. Actually, you can say that about almost any of the golf courses. In second place in 2024 was the Volusia Executive Golf Course with 64,469 rounds. Last year and the previous year, Volusia was the most played executive golf course in the Villages. Yeah, I like Volusia. It's rolling hills. They have, I think, one or maybe two par fours on it. A lot of water. It's a little challenging for an executive course, but I always liked it. There were 2.1 million rounds of golf played in the Villages in 2024. That was down 396,142 rounds from 2023. Many golf courses faced extended closures in 2024 when villagers were upset over atrocious conditions blamed by golf officials on the El Nino weather pattern. You know, the truth is, I don't believe that El Nino thing either. I really don't. But I do wonder if it didn't play a little bit on things because, you know, you got El Nino and then you got El Nina. I don't know the difference. I don't really care. Weather conditions here plays a big part in whether the golf course officials, people that tend our golf courses, they mow, they fertilize, all this kind of stuff, whether they can even get on the course to do that work. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, now you know the most popular golf course played, and it's always the newer ones. Okay, how many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? 3. We got 3 holes in ones. Linda Montalvo of the village of Linden got her third hole-in-one since moving to the Villages 5 years ago. She got the latest lucky ace at hole number 6 at the Gray Fox Executive Golf Course at 73 yards with a pitching wedge. Word has it that Linda's husband Phil has yet to get a hole-in-one after more than 50 years of golfing. I feel for you, Phil. Like I said, life is not fair. People that just picked up the game of golf, never hardly played a whole round of golf anywhere, and they get a hole-in-one on their first round. I mean, it's just not fair. But that's just the way it goes, right? Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Linda. Take your husband out for a beer. He probably needs it. John Castleman got his first hole-in-one Saturday, January 5th at hole number 15 at the Marsh View Pitch and Putt. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, John. John Leonard of the San Antonio Villas in the village of Della Vista got his second hole-in-one within 23 months. Leonard got the second lucky ace at hole number 6 at the El Santiago Executive Golf Course at 115 yards with a 7-iron. His previous hole-in-one was in March of 2023. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one there, John. Beer's on you, buddy. How about some letters to the editor? To the editor, I pay my amenity fees, but when I go to any of the squares for the bands and entertainment, I can never get a place to park my cart. Cars are taking up the prime parking. Do they live here? I believe all prime parking at the squares should be for golf carts only. That's sent in by Susan Dale Susan. The Village of Orange Blossom Gardens. Well, Susan, I'll tell you a little bit. I don't have no opinion about prime parking down there, but all of our streets are open to the public. They don't have to live here. I mean, it's always been that way. And the squares is private property. It's not an amenity. You don't pay anything. I don't pay anything. The developer owns that property at the square. That's his own private property. You know, the businesses down there pay a fee. They're the ones that actually pay for the entertainment, not you and not me. Should there be priority parking for golf carts down there for residents? That's what you're trying to say. What difference does it make? At 150,000 people anymore that lives around here, and if only half of them people have golf carts around here, it doesn't make any difference. You're going to go to the square and it's going to be full anyway. There's never enough parking at the squares. And as we keep getting bigger and bigger, it's going to get worse and worse. To the editor. About this time every year, people begin voicing their frustration about finding a place to park inside the town square in the evening. As a full-time resident, here's what I have learned. The town squares are open to the general public. Thank you. They are not exclusive to Village's residents' enjoyment. Non-residents are welcome to come to the Villages and enjoy the entertainment and to dine at the restaurants too. During the off-season, non-resident patrons help to keep the businesses afloat. Additionally, beginning around November through January, the population of the Villages increases by at least 10,000 people. I think it's more than that, but that's just my opinion. This contributes to the parking availability. Respectfully, at any rate, paying a resident amenity fee does not necessarily guarantee priority parking at a town square. It is best to come early, especially when there is a popular entertainer on stage. That's sent in by Fred Carr, the Village of Sable Chase. Here's another letter to the editor. Boy, this golf cart parking thing this time of year when the snowbirds get back becomes an issue. To the editor, I would like to reply to the resident that feel golf carts should have priority parking. I, too, pay my amenity fees. Once again, your amenity fee has nothing to do with the squares or parking around there. Those are open to the public. All roads, including the one in front of your house, all roads are open to the public. I, too, pay my amenity fees and feel golf carts get priority everywhere, which I feel is quite discriminatory. There are golf carts lined on streets in Brownwood and often are blocked off. Those golf carts can belong to anyone, and cars have zero access to these areas. I am curious as to why golf carts should have priority other than they take less space. Those of us with cars are forced to park in spots that could be a distance away. Is there a fair way to park for all paying residents? That's sent in by Barbara Kilbane from the Village of St. Catherine. There's never going to be a fair way of parking. It's first come, first serve. That's the way it is in any town that you ever lived in. That's the way it was in any town I ever lived in. I don't know. You know, is there a fair way? No. I think this will be the last one. To the editor, can you provide an update on the estimated opening date of Hooters? Based on previous articles and comments, hundreds, if not thousands, of villagers are awaiting its arrival with great excitement and anticipation. That's sent in by Phelps Jurgensen from the Village of St. Catherine. Well, I like the way you word things. I'm not too sure it's great excitement and anticipation. I've talked to a lot of people about Hooters, and it goes two ways. Women, most of them, hate it. Guys like it. That's just the way it is. I intend to take all the W&L crew and their better halves or whoever to Hooters when they open. May not be on the grand opening day because it'll be really busy. So we'll see. But we're going to take the W&L crew over there, and I'm going to have me a beer and some chicken wings. Yeah. And we'll get everybody's opinion about it. I'll film it if Hooters will let me film inside. I'll film our table. We'll talk to all the crew and what they think about it, and I'll show it to you, and you can take it or leave it for what you think it's worth. But I'm looking forward to it because I think it'll be fun. Okay, I think that's going to be the news for this week. I really appreciate you guys watching it. We've had quite a few new members come to our Patreon page. I'm still working with a couple of them on getting on Discord. I don't know if Discord's made changes or what. Most of them got right on, but there's one or two of them that they seem to be having a little bit of problem getting in Discord. I don't know why. I can't see the other side of this, but we're working on that. So anyway, I encourage you to join our Patreon. That's what supports this channel more than anything. Watching the videos on YouTube does also help, but you also get all the commercials. If you're satisfied with that, that's fine. YouTube members, I don't forget you. I have never forgot you. You're there. I appreciate all my members. That's what keeps us going here. That's what supports this channel. That's what makes it kind of worthwhile for me. The members is what lets me know that we're doing something okay and that you guys enjoy it. So with that being said, I'm just going to get out of here. I'm going to say that the wildfires in California, I watched them every day, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day, get the updates. That's a serious problem out there. This is terrible, what's going on there. And I understand there's a problem with the Santa Ana winds. I was there once during the fires and the Santa Ana winds, so I saw firsthand what happens. And I know it's awful. It's very hard to deal with. It's just crazy. So with that, I'm saying beware, be safe, stay aware, stay healthy, because that's really all we have in the end of it, is our health.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.